What is shaken? It's episode 74 of the Golden Mike Live. Dr. Ilana Nankin is here today. Ilana, you know why there's been 74 episodes of this show?
Because you're awesome.
Well, technically, yes, but also because I'm the producer of the show. You cannot cancel me, people. You cannot cancel me. And like this one is going to be a good one today. We've got a power 35-minute session with Dr. Ilana Nankin. Dr. Ilana Nankin, founder of Breathe for Change. Not only is this an organization, it's a freaking movement. It's a freaking movement. Oh,
yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love them too. You know, Breathe for Change. It's not only an organization, it is a social movement. This is perfect. I was reading my sister Audre Lorde last night, feminist author who was talking about the fact that self-indulgence or self-care is not indulgent. It is actually a practice that engages in political warfare. You cannot make change unless you're taking care of yourselves. And Dr. Nankin, I cannot wait to talk to you about how you went from sort of being a teacher, right, to getting your PhD. And now I saw you on the local news. I called you up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, I've got to have more Nankin, baby, in my life. And we're gonna talk about that. Also, as a former educator myself, I'm always interested in self-care. I'm always interested in the way that we can take care of ourselves, and especially when we're leading these social change movements. So Dr. Nankin is here to talk about some things. We might go crazy with this one. I gotta show you. I have no yoga mat, so this is my little nephew's.
Yeah,
this is my nephew's thing.
I love it.
I threw down in the office because I have no excuse. Just because I don't have a yoga mat, that doesn't mean that I have any excuse not to take these actions in my life. So just in case we do anything,
why you need to do it,
right? Just in case we do some things, we're gonna talk about that. Now, I'm gonna get through this really quickly. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Marc Cordon, positive psychology coach, which means two things. Don't worry about the empirical data and all this jargon. 1 to 10. It's a Monday. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you feeling today? You know, for those of you who are watching on the replay, how happy are you feeling today? The second thing is this: scale of 1 to 10. How much do you live or feel like you're living in your full purpose? When those two things are coming together, you don't need a positive psychology coach, baby. Just live your life. Do what Nankin's doing. Lead social change. Lead social change. Now, Nankin?
Yes.
Are you feeling good and functioning and living to your full capacity today?
I'm a high 10 right now.
On both. So given all of that, I just want to get into this before we even talk about everything else. What's your story, dude?
All right. So first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. I love it already. I'm from the Bay Area. I grew up in Cupertino, and then I went to UC Berkeley. And at UC Berkeley, I got really, really interested in education because I took courses on the current issues in education and just became completely inspired to pursue a career, which I knew I wanted to be a teacher since I was 8 years old. And I taught.
Really?
I was a third grader and taught my mom's second grade class, and I felt super cool.
What did you teach as a third grader?
I don't remember, but I told my mom I was going to be a teacher, and she was like, "Are you sure?" So then,
so your mom was also a teacher as well.
She retired 2 years ago, and she's taking my Breathe for Change training in the fall.
Oh my gosh!
I know. So
all things come full circle, baby.
Full circle. So after UC Berkeley, I went and taught pre-K in a Spanish dual immersion school in San Francisco in the Mission. And I did Teach for America. And through that experience, just like most teachers are, I was so stressed, so overwhelmed and overworked, and had very little tools to take care of myself until I ended up going to my first yoga class, and it completely transformed my well-being. And I ended up getting really curious about more mindfulness and meditation practices. and integrated a bunch of these wellness tools and practices into my classroom with my little ones, and saw unbelievable transformations in them, both social, emotionally, and academically. And I was like, there is something going on here that's real and the world needs to know. And so in 2012, I moved to Madison, Wisconsin to pursue my PhD in curriculum and instruction here at UW. And so I became a teacher educator, and teaching teachers is like the love of my absolute life. So I taught courses, and for my dissertation, I ended up following 8 of the teachers that I had taught for 2 years in the teacher ed program into their first year of teaching in diverse classrooms all over the world. And I was particularly looking at how they would take up their ideals of social justice that we talked about all the time in the program in action in actual classrooms with kids. And what I found was that across the board, just like me, all of these teachers were so stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, had no tools to take care of themselves. And there was this diminishing cycle of well-being that was negatively impacting their and their ability to fulfill on these like social justice intentions. And so that was in the fall of 2014 was when I started following them. I was following them throughout the school year. And at like about 10 months prior to that, I had gotten my yoga teacher certification, and it was absolutely life-changing. And so I was teaching courses at UW still in the teacher ed program while I was collecting my data. And so my students found out I was a yoga teacher. They thought it was like absolutely the coolest thing ever. They rented out space in the student union for me to teach them a weekly class. And so I did, of course, and I was honored. And then every single day, another student would come up to me because they were working in schools all over Madison and would say something like, oh my God, the kids who normally throw tantrums are now utilizing these breathing techniques and their relationships are improving, or anxiety attacks before tests are now utilizing these practices and their test scores aren't improving. And like every single day is another thing. So seeing like the universal issue of teacher stress and burnout happening before my eyes through like the experiences of my teachers, and then also seeing the power that wellness practices can truly have both on teacher well-being and on student social, emotional, and academic outcomes. I was like, nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to start the world's only 200-hour wellness and yoga teacher training that's specifically designed for educators, and then support them in being like champions of well-being in their lives, classrooms, and school communities. And that's when it was January 15th. I was like, I'm starting this movement. Went through a few iterations of names. At first, I was like, Yogi Bears. And everyone's like, my dad was like, you know that's trademarked and you could get sued, right? And then so I ended up just Breathe for Change came to me. And that's truly what it is. It's like every breath, we're breathing together for collective change. And so it really is a movement of social change. And then basically I was unstoppable in my vision. I like told every single person I knew. I opened up my home like every Sunday. We would have like first 5 teachers would come, then 10, then 15. Then like people were calling in from all over the country to be a part of this, like, we're starting a movement, like, let's do this conversations. And then that year.
So this started like in your home?
Oh yeah.
This started in your home? That is so funny because I'm watching, like I saw her on TV in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, cool. That's how you found me. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you on TV in Tampa.
Yeah, and then it happened. So then basically that summer we launched our first 16-day training. And I somehow managed to convince 34 teachers it was like this great idea to come to this thing that had never existed. We also won like the UW Business Plan Competition Award that year, and I got into some accelerators that were supporting the work. And so that training was so life-changing for people. And then it really exploded into like a movement. My business partner, who's now a co-founder and president of Breathe for Change, like stopped by the training. He was a good friend of mine who's an amazing entrepreneur. And he was like, give me 2-month trial period. I'm going to help you turn this into a real business. I needed his skills. I needed my partner in crime to like be able to help my vision and my expertise in education come to life through like an actual movement. And so after that, we built a team. The next year, we expanded to the Bay Area and New York City, and Sesame Street hosted us in New York City, and we certified 185 teachers. And then in 2016, we were in 6 cities, DC, LA, and Austin we expanded to and certified 600. And this year, we're in 11 cities certifying 1,700 teachers across the country. And in just tomorrow, we're launching our Breathe for Change app. We're first launching it just to our grads and our future teachers who are signed up for the fall. And the idea is to give them like resources, Breathe for Change resources, social emotional and wellness resources, and then also to have live sessions and professional development and meditation and yoga classes that they can pop in on to take care of themselves. And then we're launching that publicly in November to educate people all over. So it's a thing.
It's a thing. And the thing that I love about the fact that this is called a movement is because that sort of that cycle of diminishing well-being is such a big deal, and folks just think that it's an invisible thing that just happens. Like you go into like the expectation is that you're going to go into like a giving profession, and it is meant to suck you dry and burn you out, right? And then oftentimes that transference, like children unconsciously pick that up and think, okay, that's the way the world works, and that's the way that I'm going to work, is sort of in this distress, the state of distress, the state of overgiving, and not really supplying ourselves, not really nourishing ourselves. I absolutely love it. It's not a surprise that it would explode that quickly, because you're like, oh yeah, I had to convince all these people. Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of people that were like, yeah, I'm burned out, I need this.
Like, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. Like there is absolutely no convincing, truly. It's a collective vision. I just happened to start it, And so, one of my former pre-K students, Patrick Kirian Nolan, once said in my pre-K class, in a community, first you have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And I was like, what? Oh my God.
Patrick Kirian Nolan. He's going to be the next guest on this show.
Absolutely.
Dropping wisdom bombs.
Middle school now, and he would probably be like, what you talking about? But it's my goal to go back to him and be like, Patrick, you started this thing. Well, you don't know, but you should know that you started this movement.
Right, and it kind of talks about the genius of children, right? Because oftentimes we as adults think that we've got all our shit figured out, and oftentimes kids understand that. They're built to understand that I got to take care of myself. I got to practice self-love. And then they often will see people sacrificing so much that they're like, oh, I guess I have it wrong. I'm going to practice that. I'm going to mimic that.
And so that's why we start with a teacher, is because it's absolutely, social emotional learning is this super important thing that's being taken up more and more in the education system. People are realizing the critical need for us to emphasize and focus on teaching students social emotional learning. However, a lot of the times it's like teachers get these curriculum that are scripted, and there's no focus on teachers embodying the same practices that we're teaching our kids. And just like what you said, if the teachers aren't modeling and truly living and breathing what we're teaching the kids can see right through it, and they're not going to actually learn. They're going to learn through the connection. And so our sort of theory of change is that it starts with the teacher, and the teacher starting with themselves. And from there, they can transform their relationships and their communities and utilize these wellness practices as a vehicle for social change. But unless they're embodying it for themselves, then nothing is possible, truly. So
absolutely freaking awesome. We're gonna cut to the chase. You were a child that wanted to be a teacher. Then you became this PhD that wanted to empower other teachers, and now look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. We are going to talk about what is about to be exploding out there with sort of the new training and the app. Walter is joining us. A couple other people is joining us. Walter from Canada is a performance coach. Congruency is abundant. He thinks of, nice. The example of the power of us. Look at you dropping all these one-liners on us today. Stress reactions totally affect performance negatively, especially distress. Sometimes people can operate on eustress, right? But when it goes into that tipping point in which we often operate in, done. Performance goes down. Thank you, Walter. So we want to know some of the secrets behind these teachings. We want to know some of these secrets because we're going to log off in about 10 minutes. And I want to know what I can do when the golden mic is off to be able to practice my self-care. What are some of the things that I can do right now before I go into, I'm actually teaching tonight for a very long time. And what can I do before that session, or what can I do this afternoon that will help me out?
So I think one of the misconceptions that we have about self-care is that we have to create so much time and space for these practices. But honestly, it can start with three deep breaths. Like if you literally just sit down, take a big breath in and exhale it out. Again, inhale and release. Feeling the connection to everyone on this call. Inhale and let something go. Now bring your hands to your heart and just notice how you're feeling. How do you feel after those 3 breaths?
I'm pretty damn good. I'm feeling pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's literally just taking a few moments to pause, to breathe, to move your body, whether it's just breathe 1 breath per movement with your hands, inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale, palms kiss. Exhale, hands to your heart. So again, you can link your breath to your movement. You can take deep breaths. Gratitude is a huge thing. And so having a little journal where every single morning you wake up and then you write what you're grateful for. Whoa, how would your day change if you woke up instead of you're cranky, exhausted, and you're just let me focus on what I'm grateful for, one thing. And then at night to go to bed and do a little loving kindness meditation. So you're sending a message may all beings be happy, may all beings be healthy, may all beings be at peace. May I be healthy, may I be happy, may I be at peace. Something like that. So simple, but makes a profound difference that literally changes your brain, which changes your experience.
And
so those are just
everybody who's watching, I feel so chill right now. Everybody who's watching, I would encourage you to just take those 3 deep breaths. You're not on camera, so you don't have to worry about whether I was am I doing it right? But then I'm you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm doing it right?
Totally.
There's no right, wrong.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
There's no way to do it wrong.
Yeah.
That's why it's called practice, not a perfect.
Nankin. Love it. Well, and this is the other thing too. I love the fact that you're talking about bookending your days, because oftentimes as teachers, as coaches, as folks in business, we oftentimes forget about the power of the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. Those are the 2 times that we have complete control over everything that's going on. You might be a teacher and then you go up, Patrick is dropping wisdom, Susie's puking, you're doing a million things. And usually that's what you're doing, right? You're taking care of emergencies, you're teaching, you got parents, you got all this stuff going on. But then it's the beginning of the day that you can really practice that gratitude and breathing and pause. It's the end of the day that you can do that. And given the fact that you don't have to take a 2-hour break at any time, you can just do these little hacks in the middle. I could do this in between calls. Totally do this in between my calls.
Totally. And it'll change your life.
Yeah. So is that the piece that you found to be the most life-changing pieces is the idea of practice, or what was like the big aha moment for you?
I think what distinguishes us from any other experience or organization or just anything really is just the community that's cultivated. When you can learn these practices on your own and like go to a yoga class and not know anyone in them. But like when you're learning and you're growing with a community of like-minded educators who are just as passionate about you are about like well-being and social justice and like the next generation of our world, then it's a different conversation. And the relationships that are cultivated, the accountability that's created is unprecedented. So I really think that it's a combination of the content of like the wellness and the practices, but also within the context of community. And like those two things, it's unstoppable because people just want to be surrounded by other amazing people. When you grow and you learn and you transform together, there's nothing like that.
No, I don't think there is. Speaking of there's nothing like it, I want to get to this. breatheforchange.com has some trainings that are coming up.
Yes.
I want you to talk to us a little bit more about it.
Okay, so we offer, like I said before, the world's only 200-hour wellness and yoga teacher training that's specifically for educators, and educators in the broad sense of the word. So we have schools and social workers and classroom teachers and people in education nonprofits and all the things. And we, during the summer, we do these 16-day intensive trainings because it works for teacher schedules. And then over the fall and the spring, we do weekend trainings. So this fall,
is this all in Madison, or is this all across the country?
We're right now in 11 cities all over. We're in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle, Denver, Chicago, Madison, Boston, New York, Tampa.
Boom!
Wait, what did I forget?
No, I just...
And did I say Madison?
You did say Madison.
Did I say Denver?
No, you didn't say Denver.
And Denver.
Okay. Oh. Throwing it out there. I'm planting and seed ATL. ATL needs this.
Oh, I know. Don't worry. And we have an expansion plan for next year. Don't you worry. But so we just completed over the summer, we did 9 trainings in those cities, and we literally just finished a few days ago, which is amazing.
Unbelievable.
So starting on the weekend of, I think it's September 29th, the last weekend of September, we have 5 more trainings, one in San Francisco, which is already full. So if you're in the Bay Area, then apply to the one in the spring. We have one in New York City, one in Austin, Texas, one in Denver, and one in Chicago. So if you're an educator or you know educators and nearby any of those cities, have them apply now, and then let the people know that you found out about this through this awesome webinar or whatever we're calling this, and then and then have them tell that on the application, and we'll make sure to give them a scholarship. One of the things that we want to do is like make sure that our programs are accessible and affordable to all teachers who need it, and teachers really make not enough money at all anyways, so we offer scholarships, and I'll make sure that if anyone finds out about this,
that's very cool.
That we can offer them a scholarship.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. So, and our trainings are filling up really fast. So sign up now. And if you're in Tampa, or if you're in Madison, or if you're in Los Angeles, or any of the other cities I mentioned before, Boston, DC, or you can still go onto our site now, and we really recommend that you apply because we have trainings open for all of those cities, and they fill up at this point. It's like, it's hot. So they fill up fast, and we have like an interview process where you apply, and we set you up with an amazing admissions person who will become your best friend, and they'll make sure that they can make it work for you financially, logistically, and all of that. So don't hesitate to sign up if you have questions. Like, apply, and then the admissions person will support you in answering everything.
Absolutely.
Come November, we launch our app, and you can find out even more. And we'll be doing some smaller weekend trainings and other things too coming up. So a lot.
And so even if you can't make it to those cities, check out the app is coming out in November, and we're gonna revisit this.
Another one of these, and we're gonna explode it in November.
Nice. We'll totally explode it, and I'm gonna totally be doing some hardcore moves, the heavy duty moves. Then,
Yeah.
I wanted to throw this out there again, and just reinforce the big note that I got from this. Right, the big note that I was writing down was, I will always. I'm out of higher education now, but like 14 years in it, you get into the grind, and
Yep.
as a coach now, I still consider myself an educator with some of the things that I do, right? And I think one of the biggest things is still that idea of self-care, and especially when y'all go into the, you start up leveling, or you get stuck in the whole mire of going from the 9 to 5, or the 9 to 5, or just the grind, whatever you call it, right? You get so stuck in it. This is the thing that has been found. When with the folks that you work with, anxiety goes down, tantrums go down. In terms of student success goes up when you as an educator are coming in at a place where you're taking care of yourself, and also life success and satisfaction with life goes up. Win-win situation. It's no wonder that there's going to be well over 2,000 people next time we talk that are going to be signed up for this. And it's no wonder that they gave you a prime time spot on a Tampa show on your place in your program. I can't be more excited to have you on breatheforchange.com, our-trainings.
Or you can just go to breatheforchange.com. That's simple too, and see it all. But that's right. We do our training application.
That's right. Dr. Nankin, I know you have to go to a meeting. They're going to call you in a second, but this is the reason why this is called the golden mic right now. You have 1 minute or 2 minutes or less. I want you to imagine that a golden mic is coming down from your ceiling up there in Madison, okay? And it's stopping in front of you. And this golden mic has the opportunity for you to be the penultimate of educators right now, because this golden mic will translate all across the world in every single language, and everyone is listening. Mm-hmm. So Ilana Nankin, for 2 minutes or less, your golden mic is live now.
Beautiful. So I would tell every single person on this entire planet that you matter more than anyone in the entire world, and it is your duty to take care of yourself so that you can do the incredibly important work of taking care of other people. And so prioritize your well-being, take care of yourself, connect with each other, open your hearts, and give your love out, because I promise it'll come back a millionfold if you really take care of the most important person in your life. Boom.
Drop that golden mic like it's hot, Ilana Nankin. This has been episode 74 of the Golden Mic Live. Breatheforchange.com. Go there right now. The episode is over. You have an additional 30 minutes. Ilana, thank you for taking time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too. And we will see you soon. This is the final question I have for everybody. If you're feeling great and you are living life to your full purpose, what is your responsibility to change history for the better? Golden Mike 74. We'll see you tomorrow. On behalf of Ilana and I, bye, y'all.
Bye.